Hey, Thrive Loud fans, Lou Diamond here. You know, video continues to be such an integral part of marketing and messaging your business. And many entrepreneurs and small businesses are a bit uncertain, even confused, about how to best create and deploy videos for their websites, YouTube channels, and social media sites. If you fall into this category, I have one word for you: Animoto. Join the millions of businesses, photographers, and families who use the power of video to share what matters most to them. Whether it's marketing videos for your business, slideshow videos for photography, or even slideshow compilations of family pictures, anyone can make great videos with Animoto. If you've been a regular listener, you heard Animoto's co-founder, Jason Shao, on the program share his story and how his company is helping so many people incorporate video into their messaging. After that episode aired, we had listeners, former Thrive Loud guests, and even yours truly use Animoto to help create effective marketing videos. So head over to Animoto.com, click the Get Started button, and use the promo code THRIVELOUD to get an additional savings. That's Animoto, A-N-I-M-O-T-O. Make great videos easily.
Today on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I don't need to teach you to be more like me. I need to teach you to be more like you.
Longtime listener and huge fan.
Lou, I am tremendous.
And the more I unplug from technology and people, the more I can serve people with technology.
What you're standing for with connection, I think it's the key to everything.
You're just an amazing breath of fresh air for sure. You're a diamond in the rough, my man.
Because for me, if I'm not living high energy, I'm surviving, and I want to be thriving.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
I love it.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a spectacular individual who helps professional speakers get on more stages. As an event integration agent, she knows the behind-the-curtain secrets of professional speakers and of event planners that are essential to speaker success. She gives emerging speakers who want to accelerate their businesses the tactical path to the main stage, both in person and virtually. Thrive Loud listeners, Lee Hayes. Lee, how are you today?
Fabulous. I'm with you. How could it not be great?
It is true. We just recently got to spend some time together, and I got to kind of see you in action in the way you plan events, and got me on a virtual stage very recently. So this is a very fun chance to kind of flip the script a little bit, because you were playing almost like podcast/MC host in this event. I'm enjoying this already because I'm really pumped for our conversation.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to have the tables turned, because you're right. I got to meet you. I got to bring you on an event, and now we're swapping. Awesome.
Let's talk about events. There have been many speakers who have been on Thrive Loud, professional folks who've been doing it for a long time, being on stage, being virtual presenters. We've had a lot of that going on in COVID. Talk to me about what your life has been like this past year. As we're recording this at the very end of 2020. We're kicking off 2021, but I want to hear your thoughts on the world you've been dealing with, because there's been a lot of ups and downs, have there not?
Oh my God. This has been the roller coaster of the world. I mean, for everyone, but with the speaking industry, it's been very interesting, but really truly like a roller coaster, where at the beginning of, was it March or something? It was that first big hill. Everything was crashing. Everyone was canceling, postponing. It's not, in the beginning, it wasn't as if events were like, oh, there's a problem. We'll go to virtual, no problem. They were just going, oh, what do we do? Right. And there's postponing, canceling. And that's what happened. So I think the first 8 weeks, all I was doing was canceling events, watching my career and my speakers' careers just explode, crumble, explode in a bad way. And then it sort of leveled off, and people went, okay, all right, let's relax. Let's figure this out. And some, webinars started, more virtual stuff started. But then we hit the second hill, where all those people who in March and April and May said, okay, we're going to postpone until October, November, December. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Second hill, boom. now those events are being canceled, postponed, moved. It's craziness.
From your seat and in dealing with both sides of the coin here, both dealing with the talent and the speakers that are speaking and those that are on that event planning side, there is a lot of stress, but there's still this need to deliver messaging. Whether it's for internal sales meetings at big companies or the speakers who are there to represent and provide that information. Can you talk about the challenges, or at least maybe the tension you saw? Did you see more creative thinking going on more than you ever have in your career because people are still trying to figure out how they can connect and bring people together?
It's interesting. I have seen people thrive, right? People do phenomenally well, and other people just not make it. And it's really odd. So some people just went, okay, this is horrible. We're going to figure it out. And they became, like you mentioned, very creative. I've seen amazing webinars come out of that. I've seen some companies that just said, okay, we can't do a live event. I know one large communication company that said, we're going to change our structure entirely. We're going to bi-weekly speakers. And they rolled with a speaking event all summer long. I mean, May until August or something. So they changed it and they did really well and they got a great following and they were hiring speakers. But then there are some, both speakers and events, who stuck their head in the sand and said, I can't do virtual. That's just, no, we don't want to do that. We're going to wait it out. And that whole wait it out thing has not worked well for events or for speakers, because if you're in an event and you say, let's wait it out, well, guess what? If your competition didn't have their head in the sand and thought of something creative and marvelous, guess where your clients are going to go, right? They're going to go there. Same thing with speakers. I have some speakers that said, I don't feel like connect to my audience in a virtual platform. I'm going to wait it out. Well, in some cases, some speakers do not do well in virtual. They just don't. Because a virtual stage is not the same as a live stage, right? We can talk about that in a bit. But those who felt that they wouldn't be good in virtual just didn't do it. And only now I have a few people who said, damn, I have to be creative. And now they're becoming creative and now they're figuring out how to do it, but they're behind the 8 ball.
Well, let's go there. Let's talk about what doesn't carry over from the live stage to the virtual stage, in your opinion.
One thing that I think does not carry over, two things that don't carry over, is I have a few speakers, I've seen several speakers who are very animated on stage, right? They're all over the stage, telling stories, moving around, getting in the audience. You can't do that virtually. You have to create energy within a small square. And I've seen speakers who have been unable to translate that their energy completely dies on screen, yet on stage, they're very animated.
Let's flip this around from a different perspective. I'm very curious of this. I had a conversation with former Thrive Loud guest and a very popular speaker, Kendra Hall. And we were talking, Kendra was telling me how much she missed being on the live stage and being in a live audience, that craving of doing that. I want to flip it around and ask from your seat, when you've talked to the people on the event planners, do they miss holding the events? Do they miss the live events, that in-person piece? Because they're usually so swarmed with the work, but even just that content or the energy that's created, are they missing it too?
I believe they are. And one example is the event you recently were on. This is a large association. They do a 10,000 person in-person event every year. And now they're doing it virtually. It's mind-boggling to me, the amount of money they've had to invest in order to pull off a virtual event. They can't use Zoom. Zoom does not support 10,000 people, at least not at any level I've ever seen. So they had to go with other platforms. They spent, I think, $250,000 just on the platform. So is in-person expensive and difficult? Yes. But can you imagine they have 83 speakers, 10,000 people, $250,000 on this virtual platform, and they're not getting that kind of interaction that they'd like to get, because don't forget, a lot of places that hold these big events, they're losing all their sponsors now. I mean, sponsors, sure, they get their logo on the screen, but it's not like sitting in the lobby and having all these people flow out of an audience and pass your table and giving them tchotchkes, right? You're losing that touch. So yeah, they miss it. I believe they miss it.
I want to talk about the work you do, Lee, because it's very interesting, right? So one of the biggest things that you do is you help emerging speakers try to figure out the best path to the main stage. I assume and you're never supposed to assume, but I'm assuming you have a really good strategy and tactics on how you help people to do that. Can you share a little into your world and how you help emerging speakers make this appearance and get themselves on those stages?
Well, I come from a very different direction than most speaking coaches. Most often, I have been presenting to a bunch of groups, and I get that feedback all the time. They say, well, most coaches, the coach gets you all excited about your unique idea, about your vision, and writing your signature speech. And I'm the boring one who comes on and goes, take your signature speech, stick it in a drawer, and let's start where you need to start from. It's wonderful to have this great ambition and wonderful idea, but so many speakers start there instead of starting at the beginning. And the beginning is, why are you speaking? Why are you doing this? Is it because you want to just spread this enormous idea? Good for you. But you know what? Most speakers want to promote their book. Most speakers want to grow a business by getting speakers. Most speakers want to make money as a speaker. And I said, you need to start there, because if you are building a consulting business, you're going to have a very different strategy than if you're trying to get a solo business, surviving as a speaker, as a keynote speaker, or if you're a workshop speaker. It's very different than being a keynote. Not the same thing. So you need to know the why is where you need to start. And then the second huge piece is, who is your target market? Again, what's the answer you always get, Lou? Who's your market? Anybody who will listen to me. Anybody. If they will pay me to speak, I will speak to them. And the answer is no, that's not your market. Your market has to be super, super narrow. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody says to me, hey, Lee, here's 10 grand. Will you get on my stage? Sure. But that's not where you market yourself. You have to be very specific about where you're marketing yourself.
It's really funny. There's a good friend of mine speaks, and he only speaks to realtors. Mm-hmm. He is a real estate speaker. He has never spoken to an audience larger than 200 people. And I could tell you, I don't know any speaker in the world that's made more money than this guy. He's just that good. I'm keeping his name out of this because he's coming on the show soon and we'll have more of a reveal. That's the way I am dramatically. Yep. But it was always so fascinating. He just found his niche, his lane, his specific component of what he does. And that's all he sticks to. And he knows it works, and he's got his model, and he goes with it. And amazingly, it even picked up even more during COVID, because it worked really great for very niche groups in online communities that he was able to target.
Right, because the beauty about a niche group is that you are the expert. I'm sure this individual is probably very well known in real estate right now. He's the go-to. But if you try to be all things to all people, you're the go-to for nobody. You're just that guy, right? So yeah, and real estate, you're right. That is a fabulous niche, and it was a good niche to be in, or is a good niche to be in right now.
They say what, Jack or Jenny of all trades, master of nothing, whichever way you want to go.
Yes, sir. That is it.
Okay. So as your career has seen the live events to the virtual events to now we're in this looking forward in 2021, there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel with vaccines and starting to get back together. Tell me, Lee, as you're seeing planners and speakers and helping them message, because I really am hopeful that we'll all be able to get back on stages and be in rooms to be able to get to that, whatever stage it is, you can hug people. I just want to know what your thoughts are from your outlook this year as what that looks like for events and planning.
I am loaded with optimism. I believe that event planners want to have live events. I believe that people want to go to live events. I mean, I just want to, like you said, I just want to be around people. And I'm an introvert, right? I am a 10 out of 10 introvert, and I want to be in a crowd of thousands because I'm so tired of not being with people.
Yeah.
And so I'm an optimist, and I believe, and this is, and my vision right now, my strategy right now is to get it going now. People need to start planning. They need to get their momentum going now, right? You don't wait till they go, oh, okay, it's all clear. Now we can start events. you need to start planning right now so that when the events do hit in summer or fall or when they're coming or whenever that is, that you are ahead of the surge, right? The wave is coming. You've got to get in front of it with the board and just be ready to ride, ready to catch it, go, plan now. Don't wait.
I love it. Lee, you've been in this business for how long? How long have you been helping people in this position?
Lucky 7. This is my 7th year.
Seventh year.
Yeah. And before this, I was in human resources for 20 years. So I actually did event planning then and hiring of speakers. I just wasn't placing speakers back then.
Which side do you like better?
Oh God, this side, please, this side. The other side was big corporate, 80,000, 50,000 person companies. Being on this side is just more creative, more exciting. I meet people who are independent thinkers, which you don't find all the time in corporate. I love being on this side of it.
Lee, you've been doing this for 7 years. You've been creating a real successful business, a name for yourself. You have some really good clients that love the work that you do. We'd love to say that you're basically on most days, even in the worst of circumstances, you're thriving.
You know what?
But we all have.
I am thriving. Yeah. Thank you for saying it. Yes, thriving. Absolutely loving it.
And there are days though that we're not quite kicking on all cylinders and not quite on our A game. Mm-hmm. Lee, when you have trouble thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
I guess Chardonnay would be the wrong answer, wouldn't it? Just throwing it out there.
That's an awesome answer. Right. It's an awesome.
Yes, I talk to Chardonnay. I usually talk to my own speakers because we understand each other, and because many of them are consultants and builders and everything else. And I love calling them and saying, okay, it's dry right now. The well is dry. Where do we go from here? And to start getting all this inspiration coming in. I'm a member of a mastermind of other event planner manager, or not event planner, but speaker managers who do event planning and place speakers. So we all commiserate and share and, help each other. That's really it. I think being in the entrepreneurial community is a wonderful, energizing community to be in. Because when you have a lousy day, there's a bucket of people who go, yeah, been there. Get up, let's go.
I love it. Can we do this? I want to get the admin part of the show out of the way. Lee, if you could share with the listeners places people can learn about you, the work that you do, all that stuff, website, URL, social media. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always gets more engagement when they hear it directly from you.
Sure. Well, sharpen up your pencil. If you are an event planner, you can see me at goleeward.com, because that is where my speakers are, the stable of speakers that I work with. And I work with a stable of high-end speakers. And I also work with a lot of other speakers, who I get on to a smattering of events when they're open. But I have 12 speakers who I manage, who actually all their in leads and all that. So goleeward.com. Pathtothemainstage.com is where emerging speakers can find me. And that's where they can learn more about how to get on stage, right? With either a do-it-yourself program or work with me program, but pathtothemainstage.com. And then the last one, which is not even live yet, but will be soon. And maybe by the time we're live here, it'll be done. And that is thereelevent.com, THEREEL event.com. So real, like movie reel. And that is going to be a sizzle reel live event where emerging speakers and established speakers will get training, coaching, premping, get on stage, present in front of a group, get video, and get a sizzle reel out of it. So they are ready for this wave, that they will have it to give to people.
Lee, permission to go down Fun Street with you, if that's okay.
Well, gosh, I don't know if I've ever been to Fun Street. That sounds great. Let's go.
It's a lot of fun. Okay, first of all, share with the listeners. I know you had trouble siphoning it down, but share with the listeners your all-time favorite movie.
You're killing me with this. I sort of have my top 10 list, but the one I gave you, I'm going to share it, is The Princess Bride.
Which I love. Now, why does that movie connect so much?
Oh my goodness. Because it's everything, right? It's the handsome guy. It's the love story. It's the monsters. It's sword fighting. I mean, it's everything. And you know what I love? Quick story about The Princess Bride. So I had met my husband 26 years ago. And it was right around the time, I think we were either just married or engaged and soon to be married. And we went to see Mandy Patinkin in concert. And
that's awesome.
One man show. He gets out there, he does his thing. He's got the whole audience cranked up. And it's the very last encore. He comes out, he runs to the edge of the stairs and he's stage and he says, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You kill my father, prepare to die." And the audience launches to their feet and we're cheering and screaming. And my husband sort of awkwardly stands up, he's clapping and he goes, "What is he talking about?" And I look at him, I go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We're done. We're through. The wedding's off." Like, what? What? And so I forced him to, I'm like, "Now watch. How could you not know The Princess Bride?" So he watched The Princess Bride and he is now a Mandy Patinkin fan and he has seen it and, you know, the whole thing. So there's a good personal story there, but also, how can you not love that movie? I mean, it's,
It's everything you've ever wanted in a movie. It's really good. I will tell you, as you mentioned, Mandy, my favorite line in the whole movie is when he's sword fighting with Carrie Elwes, and he goes, "You are marvelous." They're having a very casual, delightful, complimentary conversation.
I love that. I love that.
It's without a doubt the best thing. Why are you smiling? Because I am also not left-handed.
I am also not left-handed. Yeah, it's
It's one of my favorites. I'm glad that you shared that movie here with our listeners. Okay, we're going to do the speed round here at Fun Street, and the way this works, Lee, is I'm going to ask you a question. I want what comes to your mind as quickly as possible. The first thing that pops in. These are things that lift you up, that make you feel good, that make you thrive. All right. A song you love to hear or that pumps you up.
Ooh, Drops of Jupiter.
Favorite food that's not a dessert.
Quesadillas. Anything Mexican, spicy.
Favorite dessert.
Strawberry rhubarb pie.
Very specific. An activity you wish you did more of.
Horseback riding. I want to get back in horseback riding.
An activity you wish you did less of.
Cleaning. And I already don't do that much.
Lee, if you could snap your fingers and go anywhere in the universe, where are you?
Oh my God. Iceland. I want to visit Iceland again with my family.
Lee Hayes, an absolute spectacular time chatting with you, event integration agent as you are. Thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for helping get speakers in front of other people to connect them all, because that's what makes you a master connector, and master connectors are those that thrive loud. So really a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Well, it was wonderful. Thank you so much.
And you did a good job flipping the script on the mic there. See, you got a chance to be on the other side of the microphone, which I know you were looking forward to doing.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Head on over to Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe and listen to all of our incredible episodes. Follow Lou at Thrive Loud everywhere on social media, and head on over to thriveloud.com to connect directly to Lou and learn how you and your business can thrive loud too. Thanks for listening.